good fun. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to round 6, the match of the round from the Ilinden Sports Centre. It's the Sutherland Sharks taking on Rockdale Ilinden, 8th versus 9th on the table, coming into this one this afternoon. All good. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Ilinden Sports Centre for the match of the round in round 6 of the NPL New South Wales men's and old South Sydney rivalry. The Sharks of Sutherland taking on Rockdale Ilinden at the Ilinden Sports Centre. Okay, good.
Let's hope it stays that way, eh?
That's all good.
All the wind and everything.
Proactivity is always good.
Nothing short, Joe! Wait! Deliver!
Is this your first of the year?
Yeah, first of the year.
It's alright, mate. We did the semi-year last year. It was a ripper.
Yeah.
We'll be good.
We'll be right. I just want to see how bad it's going to be.
Stop. Stop.
I'm sure I'll catch up to it.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Okay. Yes. We've tested it 3 times, so I'm hoping so.
I reckon these like graphics make it a bit like.
They look really professional, don't they?
It's not on manual because they're doing pretty much be about audio and pretty much switched off.
So Rockdale and Sutherland starting off with your Sutherland Sharks. Number 1 in goal, Daniel Nipping. Number 2, Watson McDonald. Number 6, Mohammed Ahmed. Number 7, Nick Rosler. Number 15.
Yeah, so what are you saying that there's a filter coming through on the audio side? Like what is it?
21, Jerry Satanas. Number 23, Mason Fernandez. Number 26, Jason Garner. Number 87, Thomas Bobby.
I've just darkened.
Substitution bench.
Yeah,
Number 3,
that's like I can grind it up by pressing the button and then it's fine on the live view.
Nick Sullivan. Number 10, Matthew Machachos. Number
Literally just press the button.
Number 30, Sebastian Haran. And now, for your Rockdale starts 11.
Did it change anything?
Number 16,
I've got 2. I'm hoping that's enough. I'm halfway through one already.
Same with stuff.
Jordan Jurowski. Number 21, Philip Zamovsky. Number 28, Stephen Brezzi.
Okay, so it's so I've been looking at audio things. Yeah, so it is on. It's on.
It'd be good if Rockdale could put their team in. That'd be good. I know more. I know more or less what it will be, but it's better to have it confirmed because at least sometimes they switch things up at 20s.
Yeah. Yeah, it's on auto. It is on auto. Yeah, it's on auto. I can jump into camera slowly.
Good evening, everybody. A very, very warm welcome to the Ilinden Sports Centre for the match of round 6 in the NPL New South Wales men's competition. The oldest of South Sydney rivalries in New South Wales. The Sutherland Sharks playing host to the reigning premiers Rockdale at their own home ground, looking for their first win against them in 6 years. Alex Molchanoff along with you on the Football New South Wales YouTube page today. A big pleasure to bring you the final game of round 6 on this Sunday night. Stephen Zorich returning to the ground where he managed once, with high hopes of ending that long drought for the Sharks against Rockdale. Sutherland were flying high, unbeaten after their first 3 games, but the injury bug has hit them hard, and so the search for that early season form comes into focus against their old rivals today. For Rockdale, quicker starts would help. For so long known as the team able to score early in this competition, they're yet to score the opening goal of a game in 2025 and still have suffered only the solitary loss. And so a look to Alec Urasevsky, who is now this state's 5th highest all-time goal scorer, to get them off to one of those strong starts again in 2025. Steamy conditions might yet be the telling story of tonight's clash, with the mercury topping 35 degrees minutes before kickoff here. The side with the fresher legs and the stronger fortitude might have the final say tonight. Plenty of football to be played before then. Let's have a look at the 22 players out there who are set to take the field and do battle tonight. Sutherland make 4 changes from the team beaten 3-0 by St George a week ago. Daniel Nizic is in goal behind a rig-jigged defence. Lachlan McDonald back in at right back alongside Mohammed, and number 26, Jake Garner, making his first start of the season. Sturbieski is the left back. Jacob Treskalovic comes into the midfield alongside Jerry Skodadis, with Peter Grozos in the number 10 position. Mason Fernandez and Shoeki are the wingers behind Matt Morich, brought back in today for Sutherland. For Rockdale, 4 changes of their own. Hunter Elliott back in at right back. Matthew Karemolewski making his first start at centre half alongside James Nikolovsky and Giorgio Speranza. A midfield 3 of Constable, Danzo Ancelaki, Ollie Pufflet, and Bray Ovens making his first start of the season on the flanks. Alec Urasevsky leading the line. And we are underway. Rockdale kicking from left to right as the away side at their home ground today. Sutherland forced to take some games away from Seymour Shaw early in the season. A couple of them planned to be played at PointsBet Stadium but have been moved late. And so the Ilinden Sports Centre playing host to this one. Valentine's Sports Park accommodating them before they return to Seymour Shaw against Blacktown City on the 5th of April. As we mentioned in the intro, Rockdale needing quicker starts. They're hoping a bit of a rejigged team today might offer them that hope. Matt Karemolewski with his first touch as a starting Rockdale Ilinden player after signing in the off-season from St George City. He's won his side an early free kick here, of which he'll be a target going forward. Set pieces, not the most fruitful way to goal for Rockdale Ilinden, but they were still able to score their fair share a season ago. Brendan Chalakian to curl in the first set piece of the afternoon. Almost found Nikolovsky. And then Karemolewski won the opening free kick of the game. He concedes the second. Adrian Arndt set to have a busy afternoon in the middle. One of the most experienced referees in this competition awarded the big clash. When it was set down in round 5, plenty had it circled just because of the neighbourly love, we'll put it that way, that these two have for each other. But Sutherland's strong start meant it looked as though it might mean even that little bit more. As it's turned out, they're 5-1 thumping by Sydney Olympic a couple of weeks ago, followed up by losing 3-0 to the lowly St George FC, although their performances have been better than the results have suggested to this point. That was their first win of the season. Mentioned the injury bug that has struck Sutherland. Both the Petratos brothers have been under a bit of an injury cloud. Unfortunately for Costa, it's a little bit more than that. Ruled out for, we're expecting the remainder of the season with a serious knee injury. Marky Petratos taken off at half-time last weekend after a slow start, only fit enough for the bench today. Sutherland hoping to keep him in reserve for what is a long 30-game season. A first touch of the ball for Urasevsky, who brought up a big milestone that we'll get to a break in Pro A last weekend. We'll get that opportunity now as Skataris was trying to scramble his way out of defence and picks up a free kick. So Urasevsky now the 5th highest scorer in New South Wales State League football history. He's gone past one of the OGs, as they'd put it in the youngsters' parlance, Leo Baumgartner, one of the first foreigners brought over to this state to play the round ball code of football. He has gone past him with a 133rd strike that proved the equaliser last weekend against Wollongong. A couple more big names in his sights over the remainder of the season. 29 goals away from equaling the record of Herbert Ninhaus. Sits on 162. Euro sitting on 133 after that strike last weekend. Be pretty stunning if he could reach it in 2025, but he's going to give himself every opportunity. Ollie Pufflet trying to lay something on him, for him on a platter. In the early stages, just misjudging that ball. Rockdale, as expected, in the ascendancy early. Got to make sure that they're as diligent defensively as they have been poised, playing in possession in the early stages. Karemalevsky's clearing header only as far as Matt Moric, who's been brought in today. Steve Zorich flipping the magnets a little bit during the week. He's had to do so because of some injury problems. I mentioned Petrados is both in a little bit of danger. That's not dealt with by Nizic. A little uncharacteristic error by him. And Shalakian's chopped down. Play on because they've still got the football. And Elliott into Urasevsky. Inevitable as ever. Quickest to the ball when it spilled loose. And the congratulations go to Hunter Elliott. Those slow starts for Rockdale finally allayed with a goal inside 5 minutes here. And there was only one name that you were expecting to see on the score sheet, wasn't there? Not his prettiest, but he's made a career of those. A defence on their heels, Urasevsky on his toes. And as he's done so often down the years for Rockdale, gives them the lead. Shalakian looked like he'd picked up a free kick for the side on the edge of the box. Credit to Hunter Elliott, back into the side for Braden Sorge today after his red card against Marconi a few weeks ago. A rather more positive impact this time around, and Sutherland are well and truly on the back foot in the opening stages here. Urasevsky full of confidence. Picked off by Skotaris, who made such a glowing start to the season, but even his radar playing forward is a little bit off in the early stages of this one. Lovely touch from Pufflet for Elliott, and now Rockdale really are in full flow. Pufflet continuing his run, hanging it up in the wind. Ovens making his first start of the season, trying to reel it in. Been brilliant off the bench. For them both over the end of the 2024 season, the start of the 2025 campaign. Well, there's a chance there for Thomas Sturbierski to get in behind there, and Elliott's, having got the assist for the opener, is the first name in Adrian Arndt's notebook this afternoon as well. Sturbierski has been used as a left fullback by Zorich since his call-up for the first team over the past couple of weeks, being deployed in a more forward wing position today. Happy to run out Elliott and win his side an early free kick here. Could they answer as quickly as they trailed? Grozos' ball, easily cleared by Nikolovsky. And Urasevsky back to clear the danger a little further. Good to see Jake Garner back in the side today. He's beginning to the season delayed a little by an injury of his own. Mohamed resuming as his central defensive partner today. Both of them just caught a little flat-footed for Urasevsky's opener. Nizic's radar, both in controlling his area and in distribution. A little bit off. He's just turned 30, the Sutherland Sharks goalkeeper. Well travelled. Ovens trying to whip a ball in early. Nizic happy to prevent it from going behind for a corner, but launches it over a smaller committee than usual today on the hill. He'll receive no love here due to his affiliation with Sydney United. No love lost between they and Rockdale. Crunch clash between them, those two sides coming up over the next month. Constable turning into trouble. Elliott wide to Pufflet and well marshalled by Jacob Tresoglovic, who's getting his first start for the senior side today. He's been used off the bench a couple of times. In fact, made his debut late last season against Rockdale in the 1-1 draw that Sutherland managed to pinch off them. Mentioned that record, no win in 9 against this opposition for the Sharks. Managed just the 2 draws over those fixtures. Rockdale have well and truly had the wood over their southern opponents. Grozos trying to change that narrative a bit today. So much of Sutherland's attack has come through him in the opening month or so of the season. And Tresoglovic has a chance to get forward for the first time today. Cross blocked by Elliott. Stopierski back for Ahmed. And Sutherland have their first spell of sustained possession this afternoon. And they're expecting the flag to go up, the Ilinden defence. You've got to be just a little careful about that. Richard Schwakey getting his chance to play as the lone striker this afternoon. It's almost been a case of just shifting everybody a position forwards for Stephen Zorich today. Lachlan McDonald back in at right fullback. He's already got a goal this season. Scored on the opening day against Sydney United. That 2-2 draw, which they led 2-0 at Adenza Park. Nice bit of interplay between Danzo and Ovens. Finally Constable, and Speranza has it nicked off his toe, but has done enough with his presence to win his side an attacking throw. Haven't seen as much of Giorgio Speranza getting forward in the early stages of games, which will be a good sign, I think, for Pani Nikas and Paul D today. Linking up with Ovens, who takes it himself. It's still Bray Ovens! Nearly a brilliant solo effort from the youngster. Been cries from the supporters for the coaching staff to give him an opportunity from the beginning, such has been his form. Given that opportunity today and almost repaying the faith in full. Pufflet showing plenty of energy early, taking it off the starting debutant, Tresoglovic. A firm challenge from Mohammed, but it will still result in a Rockdale Ilinden corner. They are building and building pressure. Said it in the intro, a quick start needed today, and they have got it. Couple of results earlier today in this competition because of the heat. The kickoff between Sydney FC and Marconi here moved to a rare 11 o'clock start. Marconi winning that game by a goal to nil thanks to Marco Jesic, and then Wollongong getting a convincing 4-0 victory against the Western Sydney Wanderers to launch themselves into the top 6. Rockdale sitting 8th at the start of the day. A win would push them all the way up to 3rd, such as the congested nature of this early season table. A little bit of a disappointing ball in, all things considered. Already can see Stobierski taking on fluids. It really is hot. We said it last night, the call between Blacktown City and Sydney Olympic. Temperatures just over 30 degrees at kickoff here, probably 3 or 4 degrees warmer at kickoff today. Expecting the cool change in Sydney to come overnight, which will be a welcome relief to the players next weekend, but no such escape this afternoon. and nobody has escaped it. All the matches over the course of the weekend have been affected by the heat. Nikolowski patient in waiting for the ball to go out of play. Soros, who is a long-sleeve merchant of sorts in the goalkeeping ranks, as most keepers are, even he has been forced into the short sleeves with the heat this afternoon. Garner putting his foot on top of the ball for the first time this afternoon. Intensity of Rockdale's start can just ease a little in the comfort of that 1-0 advantage. Mizic heckled again as he controls that ball well and clears his lines. Nice turn on the right by Mark Morich, or Matt Morich, I should say. Marky's brother still around the traps in the Football New South Wales League One. Fernandez for McDonald and gets it straight back off him. Oh, and a sloppy turn from Skotadis, who just not quite looked at it in the early stages. Player over 50 games of A-League men's experience. Big signing for Sutherland after spending a little bit of time here before his entry, or re-entry into the A-League with Western United. Return to the club for what they're hoping is a full season. There's no flag this time. Oh, it was a late one from assistant Jun Park. So a couple of times it's been a late flag, but a correct decision. Richard Schweke just straying into an offside position. Spent the second half of last season with Sutherland after making the jump up a division from the MacArthur Rams. Not sure he was expecting the opportunity to take on the central striking role in the absence of both the Petratos brothers today. He gets that opportunity. See early that the thought is to get off the shoulder of Nikolovsky and Karamilevsky. Both pacey enough, but as with all centre-halves, they want to see the game in front of them before being forced to turn. Shalakian and Urashevsky trying to launch in, and then a late and a little bit of a lazy challenge for Urashevsky. Ahmed goes down with a shout, but returns to his feet quickly. Pressure relieving free kick for Sutherland. Has been a frenetic start to this game, given the heat. Been no sort of feeling out period from either side, and again, as Mason Fernandez came off the right, there was an opportunity for him to slide the ball in. Well won by Drasoglovic in his starting debut. Continues his run forward and then clatters into Nikolovsky with a rough challenge of his own as he stretched to try and control. Unsurprisingly, appeals come from Rockdale players for bookings and the like, but I think a firm word from Adrian Arndt will be enough. No, actually, he's got the yellow card out of his pocket, so we're one apiece on that front as well. The 21-year-old finds his name taken. He's made his name in the 20s and down the divisions as a centre-half, Drasoglovic. Not unusual to see young players brought in a full-back position early in their careers. He's certainly got the body type for a centre-back, imposing figure. And James Nikolovsky felt every bit of it on the end of that challenge. Some promising signs for Sutherland. They've been second best to start this game, but not been without attacking intent. Oh, a chance for Elliott, who got the opening assist for Oleg Kurasevsky. That's what you've missed if you've joined us after the opening quarter of an hour of this one. Rockdale building more slowly this time around. Ovens in behind, and Urashevsky just stepping and put the ball the wrong side of the post in any case. Just snatching at the opportunity, but it's also a chance that he was aware he was offside. Although he's still having a word with Matt Harris, the assistant on the near side, who gives him a wry smile in response. What had just been saying, I've saved you one there, Alec. A lot of Sutherland's play in these early stages has been direct, but it's on the verge of creating them opportunities. Not for the first time this afternoon. Lockie McDonald will take his time over this throw. Expecting a drinks break, or a cooling break as they're properly called, in the next 5 or 10 minutes as well. Be very surprised if we don't get one in both halves today. Well, there's a chance here for Stoypievsky, who got in behind. Soros didn't manage to claim, and Nikolovsky just dribbled it out of danger, really. Urusevsky felt a push in his back. Adrian Arndt says advantage because Ovens has got the ball. He was searching for Pufflet. Dealt with initially, and then Chalakian clatters into Ghana, and there is an underlying physicality that has crept into this one very early. A rivalry that was a while ago full of fire and brimstone has lost a bit of that edge in the past 4 or 5 seasons. Seems to be popping its head up again today. Players flying into challenges with reckless abandon. And Chalakian, who's not shy of a tackle, he won't stay in this competition at the level he's been without being happy to leave a foot in or carry yourself into an opposition player. But that was markedly late. Given the couple of bookings we've seen already from Adrian Arndt, he's just looking to keep the lid on this one. He's perhaps a little fortunate he hasn't found his name taken for Rockdale number 10. Isic back in this competition after a spell away with the MacArthur Bulls. And the A-League men's didn't see too much playing time there, but a few eyebrows were raised when it was seen he'd be making his way back into this competition, and not with Sydney United, with who he had such a long and successful affiliation between 2020 and 2024, including that Australia Cup run in which he got them all the way to the final. Was the hero in more than one of those cup ties. Trosoglovic, his touch just betraying in there as he looked to keep the ball in play. What a game to make your starting debut against the reigning premiers in the sapping heat. It's been at the centre of plenty of action in the early stages. Pufflet for Constable. It's been on the periphery of this game in its opening 20 minutes or so. And Alek Urusevsky just saying to him, I want to be playing forward as much as possible. Danzo doesn't need to be told that. He's had a terrific start to this season. Perhaps a real shining light for Rockdale Ilinden. What have been some patchy performances. Ovens, another one of those. Looking to get it on his left foot. He's a right-footed player, predominantly playing off the left. It's a sloppy ball from Sutherland. Pufflet looks to have a chance to intercept. And Adrian Arndt says, well, that's time for drinks, thanks. Well, a frantic start to this game. Alek Urusevsky getting the goal inside 5 minutes to launch Rockdale into the lead. Lovely ball in played to him by Hunter Elliott. Another chance for Rockdale fell Urusevsky's way. He was just flagged offside. It's been a promising start as well for Richard Schwerke, making his start as the centre forward for Sutherland today in the absence of Costa Petratos, and Maki Petratos is only fit for the bench. Just been caught by the flag a couple of times, but Sutherland have been probing and asking questions of Rockdale's backline, which hasn't always been the sturdiest in the early stages of games to start 2025. 8th and 9th on the table coming into the afternoon. Rockdale, as things sit, would be moving all the way into a tie for third spot with Manly United and Blacktown City. This is the first game in which they've scored the opening goal across their first 6. Still managed to find their way out of trouble in all but one of those games. Temperature check, and at least the weather apps are still telling us it's 34 degrees here down in Sydney South. Well, players have earned that cooling break, there's no doubt about that. A couple of minutes off the clock, and we're ready to get restarted with Jacob Tresoglovic. Nikolovsky winning a firm header. Shweki returning serve. Karamalevsky making his starting debut for Rockdale today. Playing it back to Nick Soros. Ovens with a lovely little drop-off for Giorgio Speranza, and now Danzo looking to stride out through the centre of the park. Not given too much attention by Sutherland, so continues. Ovens and Speranza just on a slightly different page. Speranza manages to wrangle it as the floodlights join us at Rockdale. And it's the, namely, away side. Though it is their home ground. Got the advantage and an attacking throw to continue going forward from. Alex Molchanoff along with you on the Football New South Wales YouTube page today. A reminder, you can find us across all the social platforms as well, at NPL NSW on X and Instagram. And if you're a Facebook user, which I know plenty of you are, it's NPL New South Wales, where you can find us. All the highlights packages from the weekend's gone in the top tier of men's and women's football. Full slate of women's fixtures are underway with us today as well. You can find written previews and match reports there as well. Terrific team put together by Mark Stavroulakis. A reminder on our Instagram page today, Sam German's bringing you all the behind the scenes looks from around the Ilinden Sports Centre, the sights and sounds on a steamy hot day here. Still a solid crowd in for what is not a game included in Rockdale season memberships. They've made their way to the Ilinden Sports Centre in good numbers, as they always seem to. Free kick found by Adrian Arndt as Jerry Scatharis tried to scramble away from the attention of Lockie Constable and Isaac Danzo. Fernandez just trying to get into the game. He's looked dangerous when he has had the ball around the edge of the Rockdale 18-yard box, but those moments have been few and far between in the opening quarter of this game. Going on with a ball that asks Grozos to retreat a good 15 yards. He's managed to do that. Stobieski and Tresoglovic just on slightly different pages there, and so Rockdale can build from the back again. Danzo's been given a lot of space through midfield. He misplaces that one, though, which is something we don't say too often in commentary. Skotadis trying to get Sutherland going forward. And just a couple of tired little moments for both teams sneaking into this game, which is not a surprise, given the conditions. Lovely touch from Giorgio Speranza, who's seen this all before, of course. He's more than a decade at this level, across a few different clubs. Chalakian wide for Ovens, who's very much at the start of his career, but it's building to be a long one. Constable, you can say the same of, but he's got a retreat here. And the touch judged to have been off Shweki. He's finding himself a little bit of a frustrated figure up front at the moment. Sutherland struggling to get bodies close to him consistently, having to do a lot of hard running. Danzo for Constable. Elliott overlapping, already with one assist this afternoon. Can he find a player in red again? Sweeping back was Garner. Well judged by Elliott to make sure his side got the throw. And they'll do it all again. Elliott for Pufflet. First crossing opportunity for him today, and only managed to find the feet of Moric, or find the feet of Moric, I should say. Trosoglovic, not too many options, but managed to find the right one through the Rockdale press. Forced to retreat. Moric. He's encouraged to heap it into the side for Nick Sullivan today. It's been brought back to the bench by Steven Zoric. It's a nice bit of experience to have there, along with Takahide and Wabachi and Jordan Roberts, but it's the youngsters who've been given the opportunity today in this big game. Adrian Art put the whistle to his lips, thinking about a free kick that thought better of blowing. Kremlevski. Speranza and Ovens sensing the attention. Moric through the back of Chalakian, but fairly. Very clever touch from Mason Fernandez. Sliding together were Kremlevski and Moric, and it's all fallen the way of Mason Fernandez, who could make something for himself here. And Stwecki stretching as he looked to try and steer it goalwards. But on tired legs, wasn't able to get the direction he so desired. Rusevski is deep into midfield as we've seen him today. It's his goal that separates the two teams. Pufflet putting Trosoglovic under all sorts of pressure. Garner bails him out, but can only find the touchline. This has been the method for Rockdale today. Oh, lovely throw from Rusevski. Everybody missed it, except Lockie McDonald. Took it off the toe of Ovens, who was waiting to capitalise. Already got a goal off the bench in the early season, Bray Ovens. Chalakian almost stopped expecting the free kick and then turned it over. Turning into a scrappy middle period of this first half. Suits Sutherland, who were chasing it. The energy that was so present in the opening 15 minutes, it was always sure to subside, and it has now. A little bit more structured play creeping into this one. Misread from Ovens, who found himself in an unusual area, and Lockie McDonald manages to make hay and win his side a throw in right next to the corner post, or the corner flag. Sun beginning to set over the Ilinden Sports Centre, which will take a little bit of the heat with it, but it's not the sun that's brought us that today. Seems to already be under the clouds. It's been an overcast day in Sydney. It's almost like we've been in an oven here, which has suited the baker, funnily enough. But a chance for Sutherland to find an answer to Alek Rusevski's opener. He's 134th in State League football in New South Wales. Krozos, who has been entrusted with the majority of these, over to swing it in towards Soros again. Oh, and it's fallen all the way to the back post. Schweiker was there. Still not clear for Rockdale. A high boot in there from Moric as he tried to steer it goalwards, and the bravery of Hunter Elliott wins his side a pressure-relieving free kick. Still just those moments for Rockdale in this first half where they've not looked sure of themselves defensively. Danzo hassled and harried illegally by Grozos. It's been a play. It's been key to Rockdale's last two strong seasons, where they finished second to RPL Leichhardt in 2023 before winning the premiership. A record points total for this football club tallied by them a year ago, reaching the 72-point mark. Marconi's second place tally of 65 would have won them the premiership in 2023 as well. That was the quality of football those two produced last year. Marconi have had the better of them head-to-head, which made the difference in the championship battle on grand final day at Combank Stadium. But it's Rockdale who have been measured by their consistency over the past couple of seasons and established themselves as the team to beat in this competition. Perhaps have struggled with that tag a little more to start this season than we expected them to. But they're looking back to their dominant best today. And certainly when they step out onto the Ilinden Sports Centre, there is an aura about them. An air of not quite invincibility, but whatever the next step short of that is. Added with astute signings again in the off-season. Now that Matt Karemaleski is fit to start, I think we'll add an assurance to their defence that hasn't quite been there over the opening month. Danzo helps with that. Cutting ball for Constable and beaten away by Nizic. He might get a second bite here, Lockie Constable. Cleared initially by Mohamed. Once played his football here. He's been kept very busy by his former side in the early stages here. Grozos trying to get Sutherland going in transition. So they've shown a penchant for in the opening month of this year. And Fernandez has done beautifully. Shoeki's off the shoulder. He's onside this time around the keeper. But Karemalevsky there to save the day. And those are the moments in which Rockdale have been getting caught, and perhaps you just saw what Karemalevsky gives them there. Springing back to sweep up the trouble. Centre half's court square. It was a lovely ball. Beautiful weight on it from Mason Fernandez. Shoeke just missing the finishing touch. Can he provide it from the corner? Plenty of sky blue shirts forward for Peter Grozos. And one of them got there. It was Garner up from the back. Took a deflection off a Rockdale player, I think. Yes. And so there'll be a second bite from the near side this time. I mentioned Sutherland have got experience off the bench. You've just seen your camera shot the players that Rockdale have available. Warming up behind their goal. Mudin Ajar is there. Ali Orgla gives them plenty of direct running power. Haven't seen much of Jason Shakovsky in season 2025. He's having a laugh there with Blake Risciuto. All there if needed. Soros came a long way and did well to punch, but it'll be a third consecutive corner for today's nominal hosts. Dangerous ball from Skataris. Grozos with a third delivery from that far side in a matter of moments. Whipping it in near post. I think Elliott actually got the touch. Nikolovsky was back in cover, and Urasevsky using the technique which gave him the goal a week ago against St George to clear the danger. But Rockdale can't get out of their own half at the moment. Dominant period for Sutherland. Can they make it count? Skataris has drifted out to the left. Gets past a couple and lines up. It's a dipping drive. It's always awkward for a goalkeeper. And Soros almost stretching his arms out in front of him to make sure that he didn't have a bounce to judge as well. Good piece of goalkeeping. Not the most difficult, but it's so easy to provide a rebound for hungry attackers in those sorts of situations. Lovely touch for Mason Fernandez, who's growing into this game. Stobierski for Tresoglovic, and he just took it over the touchline in his efforts to beat Pofflet. Been a couple of shots in anger from both teams since the goal, but not really a clear-cut opportunity. A couple of offside flags which have denied strikers promising situations. Richard Schueke managed to make his way around Nick Soros with the flag down, but was thwarted at the last by Matthew Karemalevsky on starting debut for Rockdale Ilinden today. Krozov sensing there's room for him to drop deep and try and dictate a little more. Ahmed, a very good distributor of the ball. Made his name as a central midfielder in this competition at Rockdale. Rockdale happy with the status quo as half-time approaches. They would like to be getting forward a little more often and doing less chasing, because this will be sapping them somewhat. What are still hot conditions in Sydney's south this evening, even as artificial light starts to take over from the natural sunshine. Ahmed. Did McDonald time his run? There was a thought again amongst the Rockdale players that he didn't, and they were right. Nikolovsky for Elliott. This is the state of the game that Rockdale wants. In possession, dictating terms. Able to ask questions of Sutherland's defence. Karemalevsky did his best to turn it over, did his best to win it back, and it's fallen for Sutherland. And the big centre-half has stayed down, so they're a player down to defend this counter-attack. It was a smart play from Skotadis to drive towards goal, but Nikolovsky timed his challenge to perfection. Matthew Karemalevsky slow in returning to his feet. In Rockdale's attacking half, knows he wants to be back there because there's another corner to defend. That's the stat. Sutherland do lead quite comfortably here this afternoon. Krozos has been aggressive in really swinging these in towards the 6-yard box. It's very short this time. Too short for McDonald, really. Fernandez made something of it. And there'll be another corner for Sutherland. Despite some Rockdale protests about a potential free kick, it was quickly quelled by referee Adrian Arndt. All the Rockdale players except Urashevsky back to defend this one, and Constable read it best. He's not the tallest, Lockie Constable, but he's very good in the air for a player of his size. Seen him score a couple of header goals down the other end, lending a hand defensively there. He's adjusted pretty well to his new role alongside Isaac Danzo in the heart of midfield this season. He's deployed most often by Paul D in seasons past as a wide player. And Ahmed knew the only way to stop Urasevsky there was to bring him down, and so his name will be added to the referee's notebook. Fairly clear yellow cards. Ahmed having plenty to say, a battle he knows all too well from training sessions past at Rockdale. I'd say a situation he's not unfamiliar with, we'll put it that way. This is the pace we saw from Rockdale in building attacks earlier in the game. Elliott and Constable moving it quickly. Out to Elliott, and now Chalakian. This is where they want him. Chalakian again. What can he deliver? Urasevsky almost dumbing a volleyball spike. Ovens! Just a little off balance, but there's a couple of opportunities that have fallen Bray Ovens' way in this first half. Rockdale, I was going to say, as Danzo looked to win that ball back, that Rockdale were just finding their second wind towards the end of this first half, not quite to be. It's been a tasty one. Match of the round 6 in the NPL New South Wales men's. Still the solitary goal given to us by Alec Urasevsky inside 5 minutes that separates the two teams. Rockdale have probably edged the battle that has preceded that. Well, that's not to say Sutherland haven't had their moments. Been well and truly a contender in this contest. Fixture in which they've had so little luck over the last 6 years. Find themselves trailing again, but not without hope. In the shadows of half-time. Really want to avoid copping a second goal here, though. Giorgio Speranza keen to inflict that pain upon them. Ovens looking for Urasevsky. Stretching was Garner. And they've still kept it in. Urasevsky! But the flag was up. The ball had gone behind, and perhaps it was an acknowledgement of that. A very small response from the Rockdale supporters. Well, had a better view of that than us. And even Speranza seemed to feel that he hadn't managed quite to keep that ball in play. Urasevsky looked as sharp as ever, but it wasn't to count. His account not doubled quite yet. That might not be Rockdale's final say of this first half. Constable over to take the corner. In fact, it's Jalakian. Nizic stretching. Got a fist to it. Couple combined to clear the lines for the Sharks. Elliott took too long over trying to get it back in. Firm challenge from Nikolovsky. You heard it from up here. The collision between here and Morich. And then Nikolovsky took out Constable. Play on for now. Shoeki off the shoulder again. Not for the first time. Skipping inside two, and Nikolovsky with a very cynical challenge on the edge of the area. I think he was keen to stop him by fair means or foul there. The Rockdale centre half. No booking forthcoming, though, to the dismay of the Sharks players. I've got a free kick in almost position A1, though, for Peter Grozos. Brother of Costa, of course, is making his name week on week in the A-League men's with the Newcastle Jets. Peter was a revelation with St George in a team that didn't find many routes to goal last year and was up and down with injuries, but he's made a fine start to his Sutherland career. 2 minutes to be added on at the end of this first half. Four in the Wolfosaurus. There's no pretenses about who's taking it. Peter Grozos. Oh, how about that for an equaliser? Stunning strike. I'm not sure how good Saurus's view was. Ours was brilliant, as was the strike from Peter Grozos. He squares the ledger. A kiss for the football, but the brilliance was all his. His first strike in Sutherland colours is a very, very special one. And Rockdale, who haven't been able to build on that early advantage, are pegged back just before the break. It's been a thought that Sutherland have not quite performed to their potential over the last couple of weeks, certainly to the standard that they produced in the opening 3 games. They have been right in this contest, and they make their pressure pay on the score sheet. A goal there, pressure at times in this first half as deserved. Can Rockdale really sting them with a second? Ovens bending it deep. Nikolovsky collapsed under the weight of a challenge from a Sutherland player, and then the whistle goes the Sharks' way. Fernando's challenge on Shueke. Ahmed keen to hurry forwards because Sutherland have got the numbers, but it had too much on it for Fernandez. Appreciates the effort, if not the execution. And so it looks as though that will be the story of the first half. Rockdale dominant early, but only managed to find the one goal in the opening quarter of an hour or so in which they so dominated. Sutherland have shown their character. The youngsters have stood up to the challenge of the Premiers in the first half, and so take an equaliser with them into the sheds at half-time. It was Alec Urasevsky, 134th league strike in this competition, to give Rockdale the lead inside 5 minutes. But in the shadows of half-time, Peter Grozos' stunning free kick has squared the ledger and sent us down the tunnel level. Alex Molchanoff with you on the Football New South Wales YouTube page for the match of round 6 in the NPL New South Wales men's. We're at the Ilinden Sports Centre at half-time. It's Rockdale 1, Sutherland 1. Welcome back to the Ilinden Sports Centre. The second half coming up between Rockdale Ilinden and the nominal hosts this evening, the Sutherland Sharks. A hot day has given way to a quite gorgeous sunset. Hopefully you got a little bit of me and Sam talking about that during the halftime interval. Make sure you head to the NPL NSW Instagram page for a little bit of a behind-the-scenes look at all the action from this game and the post-game interviews with one of the winning players, as well as all the match reports, previews, highlights from across the weekend in what has been a terrific match day of action across the NPL NSW. It's Sutherland getting us underway for the second 45 minutes. No changes being made by either coach at the break. We'll see how long it takes either of them to try and flip the switch. Rockdale started brightly in the first half and they've hit the crossbar inside the first minute of the second. Ollie Pufflet inches away. A brilliant driving ball from Alek Urasevsky, but found his right winger, who was inches away from turning it home and restoring Rockdale's advantage. Not to be, but an ominous start for Sutherland, who knew they had a big task on their hands in this second half to try and hold on to the point that they've got at the minute. Rockdale just sending a warning shot to remind them. Goodness me. Matt Karemilevsky stepping out of defence quite brilliantly. He's made a fine start to his career, or his starting career, in Rockdale Ilinden colours. And Urasevsky's sniffing around another opportunity. Ahmed dealt with the danger well. He was one of a couple of Sutherland players booked in the first half. He and Trosoglovic, who's on the ball here, going to have to be careful across the second 45. Looks as though he might have lost it for a second there. And Shueki's off the shoulder. Not for the first time. Karemilevsky in pursuit. Still he goes. And Sutherland snatched the lead. Didn't turn it up this time. Richard Shueki with his first goal for the Sharks, and how important could it be? Stealing in behind the Rockdale defence and firing past Soros. Rockdale trail again, as they have in every match this season. And even after taking the lead today, they've not been able to hang on to it. Entrusted with the number 9 position this afternoon. He'd been isolated for large portions of the first half, Richie Shueke, but he steamed away and slotted it home, kept his cool, and Rockdale strike the crossbar and then concede inside the opening 2 minutes of the second half. A stunning start to the second stanza. And so can Rockdale show their resilience again. They've had to, over the opening month, time and time again. But caught high and caught in behind. It's been a regular route to goal for their opposition this season. Ovens did well, trying to get his side back into the game immediately. Constable steps away from the challenge of Skotadis. He was looking for Urasevsky, but played it too far away from him. Tied it up by Jake Garner, making his first start of the season for Sutherland this afternoon. The ball fired in behind by Hunter Elliott, didn't find Shalakian. So pretty surrounds, but a dire situation for Rockdale once more. Last season's premiers not looking quite as impregnable at the back. And so Daniel Nizic, who had his worries in the first half, now has a lead to defend quite remarkably. And Sutherland, who've been second best in this fixture for so many years, now have a lead. They had one last year as well. They weren't able to hang on to it towards the end of August when Rockdale were chasing their premiership. Have they got the same motivation to get their second goal today? As I said, they've managed it before. They've sprung into action after conceding that goal. But Sutherland are going to be doubly difficult to break down now with a lead to defend. Fernandez turns it over. Dangerous area. Chalakian. Rusevski top of the box. Even he was intending to play rather than shoot. Constable strikes it into Chalakian. Just everything a bit wild and woolly out there. Elliott. Pofflet. Danzo back for Elliott. Pofflet again. This is nice from Rockdale. Danzo's ball searching, and Ovens, who's had a couple of half chances, was staring another one in the face until Lockie McDonald got his head to the ball in front of him. Sutherland having to absorb pressure after taking the lead again. Chalakian over to take the set piece. Plenty of bodies forward. Over everybody. Rusevski read it best. His touch takes him out of the area, and he's able to win another corner for Rockdale. Reminder of the earlier scorelines from around the competition earlier today. 4-0 win for Wollongong Wolves against the Western Sydney Wanderers to launch them back into the top 6. And a 1-0 win for Marconi here this morning against Sydney FC. Early kickoff due to the heat. Corner to defend for the Sharks. Do it all again. Ball deflecting off Skotadis, who was, well, in fact, it was Grozos there. His free kick just before the break lit up the night. Whipped in by Ovens. This time it is Skotadis who rose highest. Danzo, and there might be a chance for Sutherland in counter-attack here. Shoeke full of confidence after his goal. Skips past, well, almost skipped past Elliott, who did well to get a foot in. Lunging down to his right. There's a stunned silence that has fallen over the Ilinden Sports Centre. Even from the Ilinden technical area, which is a little unusual. And now Grozos, who felt the full weight of that ball, which he cleared at the near post, is down on his backside and will receive treatment quickly here. His goal in the shadows of halftime, which got Sutherland back into this contest. And in the heat, I think the players will be enjoying every stoppage, certainly from Sutherland's point of view now. Chalakian and Urasevsky over to receive some instructions and take on some fluids. There's going to be an impromptu cooling break here. Grozos gets back to his feet, which is a good sign. Sutherland, as we mentioned through the first half of the broadcast, already hit by the injury bug early in season 2025. Maki Petratos is there. Dylan Susovic, who's been in and out of the starting lineup since he's moved from Marconi in the off-season, has been promising. Adrian Arndt came to break up the temporary timeout. Expecting a more formal one around the halfway mark of this second half. Grozos making his way gingerly off at the near side. Don't think it'll be quite the end of his night yet. Chalakian trying to lift his side. The first substitution of the night is going to be Rockdale's, and it's going to be one of their most experienced, Blake Risciuto. He's making his way onto the field, end of the road for Matt Karemelevsky, making his first start for Rockdale tonight. I've made plenty of positive contributions, but he's just looking a little ginger as he makes his way off into the technical area. So Risciuto for Karemelevsky, like for like. Risciuto's played all his football this season at centre half. Made his name in this competition as a central midfielder. He's there and in defence at times by Paul D last season. Pani Nikas has decided he likes him in a deeper position alongside James Nikolovsky, who clears this ball. Orich skipping away from a couple and continuing his run, looking to get it back off McDonald. Danzo read it best. Now Ovens has a bit of space to stride into. Get Rockdale on the attack. Nice little link up with Urasevsky. Hasn't quite got the legs to keep it in place. Spinning away from him off this dry artificial turf. She's playing very quick this evening. Think would suit Rockdale. Hasn't been the case since their opening goal inside 5 minutes. And so Sutherland, as they will with every restart now, holding the lead, take their time over it. Risciuto wins the header. Ahmed half clear. Ovens trying to roll his man. McDonald stuck to the task. Ovens returns it to Speranza, who managed to hang it up towards Pufflet. Was well dealt with by Mason Fernandez, who is back lending a hand defensively. He's been the catalyst for so many Sutherland attacks going the other way tonight. Skataris just holding up Chalakian, throwing him to ground initially. Constable takes up the attack. Back to Chalakian from the ricochet. So many blue shirts back in the box, it's almost impossible to find a way through. Elliott's trying to go around, wins the corner. Much to the dismay of the Sutherland defence. There's an inquisitive look by Paul D towards his attacking 18-yard box. Deep in conversation with Nick Ass. Ovens has provided good deliveries from these set pieces. Been plenty of whip and spin on them. Wants one to land on a Rockdale head, and almost the commentator's curse there as he fires far too deep for Urasevsky even. So Sutherland can reset. Lead given to them. First senior goal for Richard Schueke. In for Maki Petrados up front tonight. That change has reaped dividends for Steve Zorich. Trying to lead this Sutherland side to a first win over Rockdale since 2019. It was a big win on that occasion. 5-2. It finished at this venue. 9 games since, they've only been able to pick up 2 points. One of those was in the final fixture last season between these two. Speranza and McDonald coming together. Speranza gives him a shove, but McDonald's content that he's getting the better of that little stash at the moment. Wins the throw. McDonald again getting in front of Ovens and picking up a fairly cheap free kick right on the halfway line. A smile as he returns to his feet. He's been out of the starting lineup for a week or two, and his return has been a very, very positive one for Sutherland. Contributions from everybody across their starting 11 today, including the returning Jake Garner. What will be the argument from Steve Zorich? He's starting to get some bodies back, and the results are showing as a result. Still time for Rockdale to salvage something here as we tick towards the hour mark. Constable. Skatatis a little loose as he won it back. Can say the same with Chalakian, who just let it run away from him. Still he's managed to nick it off Ahmed, and he's found Urasevsky. Brilliantly timed challenge. Had to be from Jake Garner, who's sporting enough to help Urasevsky back to his feet as well. But the Yass Redbacks Jr. showing up for his side tonight. Beautiful town, central New South Wales, right near the Australian Capital Territory. Garner has been a mainstay, one of the few through the Sutherland lineup over the past few seasons. This fixture was rescheduled a couple of times. The first because Shark Park was made unavailable to Sutherland, where they planned to play this game, so I thought it was Illinden's close enough, let's play it there. Then the heat has seen it shifted back a couple of times. So we got to the 6 o'clock start. It was still around 35 degrees at kickoff, and the temperature's only dropped a couple of degrees since then. Sapping conditions for the players out there. Ovens dancing inside, still looking full of endeavour, but maybe a little less full of energy. Constable can say similar. You see him just stumble as he looked to turn there. Gets it back off Danzo. Ovens back for Isaac Danzo. This is developing nicely, and it's slid across the face of goal by Speranza. Just needed the finishing touch, but no Rockdale player had taken the gamble. And now Garner will need a little bit more time off the clock by going down and receiving some treatment of his own. Inches away from an equaliser for Ilinden. Takahide Uebachi's been readied by Steve Zorich. He's been a mainstay of the defence of all positions across the back line, and in fact that's the end of the night for Jake Garner. His last contribution, a telling block with Urasevsky seeming to be clean through on goal. And Garner's not even going to head back to the bench. He's going straight down the tunnel, I think for a shower. Well earned. Uebachi, a like-for-like substitution in the centre of defence. He partnering Mohamed now, which has been the most regular makeup of the Sharks' defensive pairing at centre-back so far this season. Dangerous ball from Elliott. Got the assist for the first goal. That seems a long time ago now. Speranza forward again. And there's Urasevsky. Nizic on the second attempt. Battered it away. Good recovery from Daniel Nizic, who's left on his backside, trying to smother Urasevsky's initial effort. Did very well to recover and make sure it wasn't forced home. But Rockdale are building pressure through these set pieces now. They need a better delivery from Brendan Chalakian this time. That looks to be it towards Nikolovsky. Urasevsky blasts it over. Difficult skill to judge, even for one as talented as Urasevsky. Ball spinning and dropping on the half volley. When you catch them sweetly, they almost inevitably end up in the back of the net. Didn't catch that one as he was looking to the baker. Almost 3/4 of the way into this game, and it's Sutherland leading it by 2-1. Peter Grozos getting a quite brilliant free kick just before half-time. Richard Schueke adding the second minutes after the break. 10 minutes either side of half-time that could prove decisive in this one. Ovens for Constable. And now Danzo in that little pocket of space. Chalakian off the shoulder. Well met by Ahmed, but it's another corner for Rockdale. In the same way Sutherland seemed to be building pressure down this end of the pitch towards the end of the first half through corner kicks. It's Rockdale's turn now. Chalakian over another set piece. Didn't beat the first man. That is disappointing. Skataris runs it clear. Schueke. It's beaten Elliott to the first challenge. It's his goal that separates the two teams. His first for Sutherland in senior football. Ahmed. Just settling things. Why wouldn't he? Growing into that role at the centre of Sutherland's defence this season. Grozos has popped up on the left. First real touch of the football we've seen for him since he went down 5 minutes ago. Switch for McDonald, who's in space. His ball leaving Mason Fernandez a lot to do. Not too much Soros could have done about either of the goals. The first from Grozos might have beaten 2 or 3 goalkeepers had they been lined up in that. Such was the dip and swerve on it. Speranza through the back of Mason Fernandez. Right in front of the Rockdale bench. Well, this was the point in the season where Rockdale were hoping that they'd have found top form, because there's a difficult little run coming for them. Host Blacktown City at home next Saturday night, 7 o'clock kickoff, before clashes with Apia, with the high-flying Northwest Sydney Spirit, who sit top of the table after 6 rounds of the competition without a loss registered. Then that big clash against Sydney United out at Adenza Park. So a run of 3 games in which Rockdale are going to have to be in tip-top shape over the next month. Cannot afford to drop points here. Sutherland's topsy-turvy form continuing, but in the positive sense at the minute. Sitting 9th coming into the game tonight. This result would launch them up inside the top 6 ahead of Sydney Olympic. Ovens. His ball had too much on it. Chalakian wanted it to feet. Even Ovens, who has been almost without fault in his early contributions, feeling perhaps the heat, a little bit of frustration, a little bit of desperation for Rockdale now. Dylan Susovic being given plenty of instructions by the bench. Expect he's not too far away for Sutherland. Moritz turning away from trouble. Rockdale's press just looking a little patchy at the minute. Trosoglovic, who was so prominent in this game in his starting debut, hasn't had quite as much work to do down the right flank, although he's got something to defend here with Chalakian, who's so good at winning those free kicks. Did exactly that. Wanted to take it quickly, but there's no chance for the Sharks players to get out of the way. Elliott for Pufflet. Featured on the periphery of this game after being prominent early. Constable's ball deflected and Nizic saves it from going behind. Jun Park, the assistant on the far side, had a good long look. Nizic up rather than out. Pufflet's header means a Sutherland throw. So 20 minutes for Rockdale to find an equaliser here. In a perfect world, I'd like to, but I've not really created much since Ollie Pufflet struck the crossbar just moments after the break. Sutherland went down the other end almost immediately and got the goal to give them the lead. This game has turned on those big moments. Rusevsky for Constable. Linking up with Danzo. Sutherland well set in their defensive structure. Almost looking like a back five now with Trosoglovic coming into the centre. Ovens So more bodies for Rockdale to try and break through. The floated cross is easily gathered by Nizic. Really, Urashevsky's only option in that. And you feel with Ali Oglar and Moody Najjar in reserve, with fresh legs, they may not be too far away either. And Moody Najjar is now taking off his training top. They stuck the number 9 on his back. They'd love a goal from him. He's got one since his return to Rockdale. He was signed here for the 2024 campaign before receiving a late offer from overseas. He went to the K3 in Korea with Hwang Song. Had a good little campaign there despite limited minutes. Managed to get 3 goals in 13 appearances. And now there's another Sutherland player down. The fact that we've got to 20 minutes to go tells me we might not be getting a cooling break in this second half. The goal scorer, rather Richard Schuecke, is making his way from the field. So Sutherland down to 10 temporarily. I mentioned Moody Najjar and Ali Oglar, they're both being readied here. So Rockdale with their last shuffle of the deck. Grozos trying to turn, just shy of halfway. A little scramble has gone. Oh, it's gone Rockdale's way. It almost looked as though Sutherland were going to get the throw in. Change of the mind by the officiating team. Chalakian. Lucky Petratos and Susevic being ready for Sutherland. So not defensive changes coming for Steve Zorich. He wants a third. Elliott down the right. Again, the ball is not an area that Urashevsky could attack. McDonald and Schuecke, who's rejoined us at an opportune moment to chase this ball down on the right-hand side. Darting in on his left. He's less favoured and didn't get the purchase that he was looking for. Danzo. Again, the heartbeat of the Rockdale midfield, but he needs the players in front of him to come up with a moment of magic. Speranza with a misplaced pass. Ovens hassling but out of energy. And then the free kick again goes against Giorgio Speranza for a challenge on Lockie McDonald. Nikolovsky asking his team to react in less pleasant terms. And Bray Ovens' evening, as we predicted, is over. Ali Oglar, his replacement, and Ollie Pufflet on the opposite flank is going to be removed as well. The two wingers replaced by Ali Oglar and Moody Najjar respectively. Two very good weapons for Pani Nikas and Paul D to bring off their bench. Can they provide the moment the Rockdale are looking for? They've scored so many late goals over the opening few weeks. Can they manage it again in these energy-sapping conditions? Petratos is on the field now as well. Susevic with him. Schuecke's night is over.
Substitution for Sutherland, coming on number 14 is Dylan Susevic.
Down, straight up in the air from Moric. Nikolovsky over the back of Grozos. It's come straight back to Matt Moric. Held up by Constable, who's still working so hard through the centre of the field. He and Danzo, without them, who knows the whole Rockdale would be in this evening. Beautifully placed ball from Danzo for Najjar. His first touch since coming on. Urashevsky in support. In a bit of a cul-de-sac though. Well, he's got to be very careful there, the young Sharks player, and down goes Urasevsky. Big shout for a penalty. Goal kick, the decision. And the frustration grows from Rockdale. Sutherland survive a scare. Urasevsky showing all his nous, nicking the ball off Jacob Tresoglovic. The challenge from, I think, Umabachi. Not drawing enough contact for a penalty award from the referee. First touch for Petratos. Trying to link up with Grozos. Soros' clearance, can't keep it in play. Mason Fernandez was the second player removed there. Replaced by Susovic, who's gone straight out onto that right wing. Fine night for Mason Fernandez. Didn't have a telling contribution to either of the goals, but just work in and around the edge of Rockdale's penalty area, providing a trying challenge for their defence. Sloppy touch from Chalakian, helped out by Elliott and then turned over by Chalakian again. Still, he can be the one that can provide the moment Rockdale are looking for, but time is running out. Risciuto. Every Sutherland player behind the ball until that pass forward for Speranza. Ali Orglar thumps it into Susovic. Heard that strike through our effects mics. Brilliantly won by Moric, who's been tireless through the middle of the park for Sutherland. Nice feet from Grozos. Happy to retain possession. It was he who got the equaliser for Sutherland just before half-time. Richard Shueke getting his first senior goal to give Sutherland the lead just after the break. That will leave Rockdale in the bottom half of the table tonight if they can't find an equaliser. Tresoglovic trying to switch the angle of attack, but not striking it as he would have liked. Now there's another Sutherland player down. So they're down to 10. Play not going to be stopped just yet, but another sloppy pass going forward, and it's Mudinajar. It's one of those with fresh legs. Nikolovsky, Rockdale not in a position to be sporting, chasing the result. Najar again. Again with no shirts around him. Just thumps it into a Sutherland player, and Danzo can't control it. Steven Zoric, who was screaming for someone to put the ball out to play, eventually gets his wish. Put you the results earlier today of the rest of the round. There's been goals galore. Mount Druitt Town and Central Coast Mariners drawing 1-1 to start the round. Spirit getting a late equaliser against Sydney United 58 to keep their lead at the top of the table. 4 points from Marconi. Apia Leichhardt pegged back after having a 3-1 lead late in that game against St George. A terrific flurry from Budapest to come back and get a point from that game. Manly United a come from behind victory at Penshurst Park against St George City, winning that one by 2-1. And then the Marconi win today against Sydney FC. Blacktown Olympic, of course, playing out a 2-2 draw last night as well. Rockdale were hoping they'd be in the winner's circle. They looked favourites after such a strong start, but they have faded quickly in this game. And they really have not looked like getting an equaliser since Sutherland took the lead just after Trosoglovic under pressure, but did well to clear the danger. Rasciuto wrestling with Marki Petratos on halfway. It's Petratos who wins out. The last touch was off a Rockdale player though, and they can just work away a little bit more clock. You'd rule Rockdale out on their performance in the last 20 minutes or so, but close watchers of this competition know better, and Steve Zorich knows better. He's still pacing his technical area. A third goal would really give them some comfort. Skatadis brought down cynically by Isaac Danzo, who goes straight into the referee's notebook. This could be an historic night for Sutherland. Not got a win over their old rivals since 2019. 9 games they've played since then. And, well, Skatadis' free kick there, not quite as stunning as the one Peter Grozos produced right on half-time. Thought with the substitutes that Sutherland might go searching a little bit harder for a third. Not saying that's not their intent, but the heat really has taken some of the intensity out of this game in its closing stages. Orglai trying to insert some enthusiasm. Wins the free kick and takes it quickly. Constable. For Najjar. Another with fresh legs. Linking up with Elliott. And Nisic hasn't dealt with it. Chalakian sticks it in. The late goal merchants strike again. And it's their heartbeat, Brendan Chalakian. Right place, right time, 2-2. And a weekend that has been full of goals has given us another 4 on Sunday night. Nice work from Najjar, who's been industrious without having that moment of quality right until that moment. Sutherland respond with a substitution. On comes Nick Sullivan, on come as well Jordan Roberts. Off come Matty Moric and Thomas Sturbierski, who's faded to the periphery of this game in the second half with his team in the ascendancy. Suddenly they're on the back foot, defending just a solitary point. Can Rockdale turn another game in the last 10 minutes? The League's comeback kings. Elliott managed to keep it in play. Jun Park had a very good view. Najjar drives into the area. Could they steal a second in a couple of moments? Chalakian again. Well blocked by Sullivan. A critical first touch from him. Well, there's an argument Sutherland should have done more to take this game by the scruff of the neck, but they look to be defending pretty solidly, until the equaliser from Chalakian. You feel this game's not done with drama yet. McDonald. Rockdale have got a second wind. Vicious press, which Sutherland have somehow managed to find their way through. Trosoglovic has had a fine starting debut, but turns it over. Switch from Constable for Chalakian, who's got one. Engages McDonald. Deflects up for Sullivan. Or Skatadis, in fact. It was an awkward clearance. Grozos, who's so difficult to get the ball off, just protecting it for his back line. Ball did go out of play this time. They couldn't do it again, could they, Rockdale? 5 minutes of regular time to play. Chalakian, who's back in the game with his goal. Clever touch from Orglar. Speranza and now Rasciuto. Again, Sutherland have got bodies back, and Umabachi timed his intervention well. Petratos with no one ahead of him, just has to run it clear. But the fresh legs of he and Sullivan and Susovic have managed to get Sutherland out of another spotted bother. He's been asked again, Maki Petratos. And the challenge was late from Ali Orglar. Brings frustration from Rockdale's bench, but there was only one decision for the referee there. Orglar snuck in and got none of the ball. So this game has turned on moments. Ollie Pufflet striking the crossbar straight out of half-time. And the pullback from Jordan Roberts has seen him booked immediately. Adrian Arndt allows Rockdale to take the free kick very quickly. Yellow card for Jordan Roberts amongst all that. Najar for Elliott. Provided the opening goal. Oh, it's a very aware clearance from Lockie McDonald, who's been outstanding at right wing back initially. Fullback as this game has gone on, having to defend his lines. Chalakian's deliveries from set pieces haven't been the sharpest tonight, but he's got plenty of red and black shirts to aim for again here. Goes near post and Rashuto was stooping in, and the deflection came off Ali Orglar before going behind for a goal kick. Ball came at him so quickly. The Iraqi-born winger. But even he, with his fast feet and his reactions, couldn't adjust to steer it home. And Nizic breathes another sigh of relief. What a heart-stopping night he's had at the base of Sutherland's defence. Awkward for Umabachi, but he did well. Susovic spinning on it. 12 goals for Marconi's under-20s a season ago. Rare from McDonald. Umabachi bells him out. Nice touch from Giorgio Speranza. And Urashevsky might be away here. Nizic read it beautifully. And got there in the nick of time. You feel if the third goal for either of these sides does come, it will come from a moment like that. The ball just spilling clear for an alert striker. Petratos for Grozos. Lovely bit of skill to find his way past Nikolovsky, but the sideline's a defender he can't get past. Saves a few words from the committee on the far side, and one or two from Nikolovsky, no doubt, as well. And the committee have found their voice really for the first time this evening. Trying to drive their team to a third and a winner. Elliott. Searching for Orglar, but this dry pitch is just making balls like that run away. Rockdale have had no luck with those balls over the top today. It's been the intricate stuff that's found them the goals. Both right at the start of the match in the shadows of full time. Nizic steadies for another goal kick. Sutherland have only got a couple more minutes to see out. Plus whatever is added on by the referee and his staff. Urasevsky at the edge of the box. It's Ali Orglar. This cry came from the centre for him to hit it. He just hesitated a moment too long. McDonald recovers again. Rockdale look the only team able to win this now. Speranza. Orglar. Constable. Chalakian. It was, well, audacious. It was inventive, but it ends up on the roof of the net rather than in the back of it. Rockdale building pressure, but not enough clear-cut chances in this second half. Despite their dominance of possession, it looks as though they're going to fall short of 3 points. Sutherland's run of winless encounters in this fixture is going to go on. They've been pegged back again late here as they were in August in the corresponding fixture. Nikolovsky drives his team forward, but Najjar is $1 short as he tries to keep that ball in play. Still no wiser as to how much time's going to be added on here. The board is being readied, and now I can sneak a peek. It'll be 5 minutes that we're going to have added on. So time still for Rockdale to steal something. They've been short of their best again tonight, but they still might manage to sneak away with all 3 points. Orgla. It's the subs that have made the difference again for Pani Nikas tonight. Risciuto steaming forward, clattered into, penalty given by Adrian Hahn. A clumsy challenge from Marki Petratos, a striker's challenge. Trying to track Risciuto, who picked his moment, burst into the area and won the penalty kick. No question over who will be entrusted to take it. Rockdale have huffed and puffed. They got the equaliser through Chalakian with 10 to play. They might be able to score another stoppage time goal that makes all the difference. Urasevsky with his trademark long run up. It's taken him beyond the D at the edge of the 18-yard box. It's he against Nizic. And Nizic went the right way. He couldn't keep it out. Risciuto and then Urasevsky, who puts the game to bed. Sutherland held on for so long, but they've been bested at the last. Rockdale hit the crossbar early. They had a penalty shout turned down. That one was given. And then the movie we'd seen before. Urasevsky striking a critical goal for Ilinden. And with about 3 minutes to play, plus whatever will be added on, there'll be a little bit of time. They'll walk away with all 3 points again. The comeback kings living up to the moniker. Unless Sutherland can salvage something again. The Sutherland supporters have finally found their voice. They are riding the emotion with their team, week on week at the moment. They just keep finding a way. And now Sutherland, whose delaying tactics got them into a winning position, face a taste of their own medicine as they try to chase this game. Lovely turn by Grozos, whose moment of magic has been the individual moment of the night. Brendan Chalakian sliding in has been booked. And now it's Rockdale's turn to delay as much as possible. Sorich will be so disappointed. His team have given all they could. And now Urasevsky's down on his backside, waiting for treatment. One last substitute, you think, will be utilised to add a little bit more time off the clock. So this result will thrust Rockdale back into the top 6. I'll have them level on points with Manly United and Blacktown City after 6 rounds. Everybody chasing Northwest Sydney Spirit. Could be a big moment for Michael Marchewski. Might be set to make his debut. Jason Tchaikovsky's there as well. And the touch was off Risciuto, so Sutherland have, well, maybe a couple of rolls of the dice left, but you feel their best chance will come from a set piece. Soros getting his house in order in front of him. Sutherland couldn't steal it at the last. Nizic is up. Grozos delivers. Dangerous area. Punched away by Soros. Not really dealt with. Susevic into a forest of bodies. And Rockdale scrap it clear. Well won in the air by Elliott. Back in by Skotadis. And there's no Sutherland shirts there. Soros catches calmly. And Paul D is asking for the ball to be launched. Steve Zorich looks away in dismay. They could taste the victory, Sutherland. With another chance next weekend, they go to Valentine Sports Park to host a game against the Central Coast Mariners on Friday night. The last game playing at a home, away from home, before returning to Seymour Shore. That's still the plan against Blacktown City in a few weeks' time. But they will be heartbroken that they've not even managed to take a point from this game. Brendan Chalakian being removed and intercepted by Adrian Arndt as he tried to make his way off on our near side. Instead, he receives the applause from the supporters for his efforts tonight. Really has driven this team forward again, needing his inspiration. His equaliser. And Urasevsky's winner. A familiar story from the penalty spot. Standing up again when his team needed him most. Tchaikovsky's first touch. And now Orgla hunting down Umabachi. Deflected the clearance. Given away by Sutherland. Orgla trying to roll Umabachi. He's seen that before. Managed to keep his feet. Orgla got a toe in, but Ahmed's there to sweep up the danger. It was Blake Risciuto who timed his run into the area and won the penalty for Urasevsky to claim all 3 points for Rockdale. They led it early. Sutherland managed to snatch the lead for themselves in a great 10-minute spell either side of the break. Peter Grozos' stunning free kick lit up the night before a first Sutherland senior goal for Richard Schuerke. Brendan Chalakian got Rockdale level again with his equaliser on 80 minutes before Urasevsky got a second from the penalty spot. Another goal in his illustrious career, another important goal in what has been a humdinger. A big-time battle between these two South Sydney rivals that has finished here at the Ilinden Sports Centre. Sutherland Sharks 2, Rockdale Ilinden 3.